destroyed. Humans can be turned off, but humans cannot be defeated, as long as the person is loyal to his heart or Shishan himself. It turns out that the philosophy of the Loyal Heart Terate, Brotherhood still resonates to this day and has succeeded in catapulting Psht as an organization that is based on eternal and eternal. It turns out that the philosophy of the Loyal Heart Terate, Brotherhood still resonates to this day and has succeeded in catapulting Psht as an organization that is based on eternal and eternal Brotherhood. He was Ki Hadjar Hardjo Oetomo, a man born in Madiun in 1890. Because of his perseverance in serving his teacher, namely Ki Ngabehi Soerodiwiryo, he finally received excessive love and succeeded in mastering almost all of the teacher's knowledge, until he was entitled to the title of Level 3 Warrior at the Loyal level of knowledge. Ppsht. This happened in the village of Winongo when the Dutch gripped their colonial rule in Indonesia. As a warrior, Ki Hadjar Hardjo Oetomo also had a noble desire to impart the knowledge he had to others, for the good of others, for the safety of others, for world safety. But the path he pioneered was not as smooth as he had hoped. The road is full of twists and obstacles, especially during the colonial era. Yes, until Ki Hadjar himself was forced to become an apprentice as a teacher at an elementary school in Fort Madiun after he finished school. Not feeling comfortable being a teacher, Ki Hadjar changed profession as a leerling greenbit at SS. Current PJKA Indonesian Railways, at Bondowoso, Panarukan and Tapin. Entering 1906, driven by his spirit of rebellion against the Dutch state, because many of his superiors at that time were Dutch, Ki Hadjar left again, and applied to be an orderly at the Madiun Square Market. The following 4 months he was placed in Malalir and was successfully appointed as assistant optionary for the Malalir, Dalapo, Uteran and Pagodan markets. But again Ki Hadjar was hit by his spirit of rebellion. In 1916 he changed professions again and worked at the Rihoagun Madiun sugar factory. Even here, Ki Hadjar only felt at home for a while. In 1917 he left again and worked in a pawn shop, until he met an elder from Tuban who then gave him a job at Madiun station as a daily worker. In random records that were collected, in his new place Ki Hadjar succeeded in establishing the Hardjo Association, a kind of cooperative association to protect his people from oppression by loan sharks. Not long after that, when BSTP Railway Employees Association was born, fate brought him luck and he was appointed Hoof Commissioner of Madiun. In line with the position he held, his life also improved. Time is not as limited as it used to be, when he didn't have a more decent life. In his free time, Ki Hadjar tries to increase his knowledge and learn from Ki Ngabehi Soerodiwiryo. Sufficiently reliable data states that it was during these years that Sesha Hadjar began to be mentioned about changing the name of a Silat association which was originally called Jojo Jendalo Sipto Mulya. Enter the Islamic Society. Entering 1922, Ki Hadjar's rebellious spirit flared again and he joined Sarakat Islam SI to jointly expel the colonial state. In fact, he himself was appointed as administrator. Meanwhile, in his spare time, he continued to practice his knowledge and succeeded in establishing a martial arts school called Psht Sport Club. Precisely in the village of Palembang, Kodia Madiun, East Java, although it didn't last long because it smelled of the Dutch and it was disbanded. However, Ki Hadjar's enthusiasm did not in Glockrope weaken but instead became even more fervent. His hatred for the colonial state grew day by day. The ruse was carried out. To trick the Dutch, the Psht Sport Club, which had been disbanded by the Dutch, was secretly restarted with the ploy of removing the word Penkak until only Psht Sport Club remained. Apparently good luck was on Ki Hadjar's side. The trick he carried out was successful. It was proven that the Dutch let his activities continue until he succeeded in giving birth to his first student, namely, Idris from Dandang Jati Losarat Najik, then Mujini, Jayapana and many more spread across Kertosona, Jombang, Nantang, Lamongan, Solo and Yogyakarta, captured by the Dutch. Thus, as the days, months and years passed, Ki Hadjar's disciples continued to increase. Ki Hadjar used this opportunity to strengthen his resistance against the Dutch colonialists. Unfortunately, in 1925 the Dutch smelled his footsteps, and Ki Hadjar Hardjo Oetomo was arrested and put in Madiun prison. Has his enthusiasm faded? Apparently not, even more bubbling. He secretly tried to persuade his colleagues who were being held in prison to revolt again. Unfortunately, before he succeeded, the Dutch again smelled his behavior. As a security measure, Ki Hadjar was moved to Sipinang prison and then moved to Padang Panjang prison, Sumatra. Ki Hadjar was only able to breathe the air of freedom after spending 5 years in prison and returned to his hometown, namely Palembang, Madiun. After a few months, after he breathed the air of freedom and returned to his hometown, activities that had stalled began to be encouraged again. By limping he continued to encourage his enthusiasm and spread his wings. Entering 1942, coinciding with the arrival of Japan to Indonesia, the Psht Sport Club was renamed Psht Terate. It is said that this name was taken after Ki Hadjar considered the initiative of one of his students, Suratno Sorangpati. He is one of the young Indonesia figures. 6 years later, namely in 1948, Psht Terate began to expand and spread to all corners. Psht Terate's teachings began to be known by the wider community, and the era of misery has changed. The proclamation of Indonesian independence announced by Soekarno-Hatta in a short time has brought major changes in all aspects of life. This also includes freedom of action and opinion. On the initiative of Oetomo, Mangku Negoro, Darsono, and other fellow students, a conference was held in Palembang at the house of the late Ki Hadjar Hardjo Oetomo. From that conference, quite good ideas were born, namely Psht Terate, which since its founding had the status of Penkak Silat School, was changed to the organization Terate Faithful Brotherhood. Subsequently, Oetomo Mangkujaho was appointed chairman and Darsono became deputy chairman. In 1950, because Oetomo Mangkujojo moved to Surabaya, the chairmanship was taken over by Ursa. This year, Ki Hadjar Hardjo Oetomo, a founding figure of Psht, received recognition from the central government and was declared a pioneer hero of independence for his services in the struggle against the Dutch colonialists.